We have Wendy and Kenton, Nick, but he's joined us online,
And John Gurney.
and John Gurney. Any other? No? Has anyone got any declarations of interest? No? All right, public question time. Do we have any people from the public?
I want to speak.
Nope. All right. To agree the minutes of the meeting of 12th of January 26 as an accurate record. Does everyone believe it's a true, accurate record? Yep. We'll move on to the action tracker.
Yeah, so members, just to note that the Christmas lights extension has been agreed and will be implemented for Christmas. Thank you very much. And the license to occupy has been sold with Ringcraft. That is now signed and work is still undergoing on the lease.
Yeah, we'll move on to events being presented by Gina.
Evening, members. This report is for information and a decision on the free use of Grove Theatre. Starting with St George's Day, under section 2.1, you can see the list of all the activities that have been confirmed for this year's St George's Day. Section 2.2, once again, this is currently in the early stages of development for the Around the World event. The activities confirmed is listed under section 2.2. Currently, there are discussions with some community groups to actually attend the event also. Motor Rally is on Saturday, 13th of June. Registrations is now open. So currently there have been 76 entries already, and we are expecting a lot more. It's all online now, and the event will be similar to previous years with live music, the outdoor theatre show, stalls, catering and arts and crafts, and an interactive trail. Sunday concerts under 2.4 listed all of the bands which will be playing this year, and there is currently one slot to be filled, which will be advertised in the Talk of the Town and through Facebook. Section 2.5, Dunstable Live. The lineup for Dunstable Live has been completed, and these have been based on the votes from Facebook, with over 1,000 votes, and the top 5 tributes have been booked for the event. First time for Dunstable Live, Middleborough Markets will be joining the event. The accessible viewing platform will come back for its second year, and once again, it's on a first come first served basis. Party in the Park, the headliner will be announced in line with the Talk of the Town, and once again for the events, the platform has been booked in. There will be a TV screen, kids zone, and Middleborough Markets is coming back. Park. For the Soapbox Derby, currently 13 teams have shown and registered their interest in entering the Derby, which is fantastic. Currently, we've got 2 applications that are submitted, but this is nice and early because the deadline date is the 27th of July, so we've got a few months to go yet. Sponsorship. This year, Party in the Park, Christmas carols and torchlight procession, and Ashton Square Christmas tree has once again been sponsored by Penrose. There are still further discussions with different businesses for the remaining events. And lastly, for the free use of Grove Theatre, the council have been approached by the Dunstable Musical Theatre Company, who want to perform on the 16th of October, performing Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. The performance will include adults and children and young people from within and around Dunstable, both on stage and backstage. Members are asked to approve this request as no other requests have been received. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Great report. Lots to look forward to this year. My question's a minor one. On the Soapbox Derby, if we've got interest from as many as 13 teams, do we have a maximum capacity that we can have in terms of teams?
So just at the moment, we had 5 teams enter last year. So we knew that's a good start. So we want more. Unfortunately, the maximum hasn't quite been figured out yet.
Okay.
Which is fantastic that there are all the interest really early. So I don't think there would be a maximum really, because obviously each race isn't really that long duration.
Yeah.
So hopefully we won't have a maximum.
That's brilliant.
I just say, for the purpose of clarity, that as far as the recommendation is concerned, I am the president of the Dunstable Musical Theatre Company. Since I'm not on the committee, I won't actually be voting.
Are there any more questions? No? Right, so we'll go to the recommendation to for the council to use one of their 3 growth theatres, use their tickets for free use. All those in favour? Unanimous. So then we'll move on to town centre services.
Annette.
Lionette.
Good evening, thank you. So some updates from the report that I've put through. It looks like at this moment, with a couple of weeks to go, that both March the 14th and the 21st have 31 stalls booked in. So that's really good. Another couple would be brilliant, but 31 is good. And the April bookings are coming in and they're slowly increasing. So it looks like a positive start to the Middlebury Markets programme. Ashton Square, I'm going to move down to point 2. Ashton Square toilet. So a new hand dryer has just been put into the men's toilets. This one is one where you put your hands in rather than down, and hopefully there won't be as much interference with that one as the other 2 that had that before. So that's just gone in. There's also been the hooks for the doors and the shelving, they've all been brought, so they're all about to go in very shortly. So the toilets will have all the implements that we need to go forward for 2026 Loo of the Year Awards. Moving on to the town centre section, point 3. As well as working alongside More Than Board Games, myself and Amy have been talking to Imagination, the Majorettes group. They are joining us for 4 of our markets, and also the Busketeers will be joining us as well. So a couple of community groups that will be joining us when we have our bigger markets and event markets. The Busketeers will be joining us on the 21st of March. So some great community work alongside Middlebury Markets to give that event programme an even bigger push. Caremark have also sponsored 8 of our markets by wanting to put up a banner during Middlebury Markets. So we've accepted that. We're still ongoing talks for the Young Traders market sponsorship, which I am really pushing for. Hopefully in the next few weeks, somebody will step up to do that one for us. Vacancy rates are on there, so they're still averaging out at the moment, although there has been a new coffee shop opening on the corner of Church Street, and with the partnership that we've got with SR Woods, they have confirmed that there are 2 units due to be taken in town. So there is positive news going on there, and units are being taken all the time. And as Paul mentioned, the Christmas light scheme, the lamps and tubes have been allocated the award for the next 5 years, and we'll be working closely with them to get the new additional gateway schemes opened for 2026 with the lights. Thank you. Any questions?
Greg?
Thanks, Chair. Thank you, Annette. That's really interesting. I'm interested as well in the premises of concern tasking group. What sort of premises of concern are concerning the tasking group?
So walking around town as part of my daily routine, you do get to have a feeling when counters at the very back of a store, that there's possibly vapes or illegal tobacco that has been sold. They try to push you out of that shop very quickly. So Becky worked really hard on this one, where we have managed to work with our partners to look at some of these shops that we feel are most probably not legitimate and most probably selling illegal products. And so it's been a very much a joint partnership where we have worked with our partners to look at these shops that we feel are not appropriate for Dunstable.
That sounds really sensible. Thank you.
Are there any more questions? No? Okay, we'll move on. Thank you for that report. Move on to Priory House.
Thank you. Members, this is Lisa's report. I'll do my best to pick out the salient points, but happy to take any questions. So as you can see, there's a good update in regards to the weddings. Using our expertise and knowledge from Priory House, we've been able to hold an open day here at Grove House, and we're working to market Grove House as a wedding venue, which will then be on the back of Priory House when we reopen there as well. So there'll be 2 wedding venues in Dunstable. Obviously, currently there are none that aren't churches or religious buildings currently. Just an update, I think, in regards to the refurbishment works, which are ongoing and are still on track. We are now working on bays 3 and 2 and 3 of Priory House. There's some interesting finds. The archaeologists are very excited about what they're finding, and so they are undertaking the necessary recordings, reports, etc., to help us understand more about why Priory House is constructed in the way it is constructed. Some of the problems that we've found with some of the bays not actually being as symmetrical as you would imagine them to be. So it's very interesting, very exciting from HE's point of view, and we're making good progress with that scaffolding, hoping to be removed later this month. The gift shop itself will need to be closed again in March. You see there in 2.4. This is just to address the need for new fire alarm and fire suppression system. Basically, when we started the works, there were certain levels of fire requirements. The work's obviously taken a lot longer than we'd planned. We've now hit into some new building regulations that weren't in place originally, which means that we've got to increase the level of works relating to the fire alarm systems there. But obviously it's all important works, and we'll have the shop back open on the 19th of March anyway, so hopefully just a small interlude there. We're currently working in regards to the community engagement element of the project, which is going well. And looking to see how we can weave that into the events that Jean has been mentioning in her report. We're also looking to actually have Priory House as part of the Heritage Open Days this year. We originally didn't think we could, but with the completion time now being brought forward to the end of October, whilst it won't be open to the public in its entirety, and it will still be a building site in that respect, we feel that we will be in a stage where we can safely open to a small number of groups, so they can see a little bit of the behind the scenes before we then reopen as a full force in terms of the exhibition space and the tea rooms or cafe area. So hopefully that will build up some appetite and interest from the public. Section 3 of the report is the financial update in regards to the shop and the tea rooms take-ins, and I'm happy to take any questions that members may have.
Sally?
Just a question. I mean, I did come for the opening and it was quite good. People are quite interested. Just a question. When we have our main events and people want to book for weddings at our venue, how will we work around?
Well, we've already got our dates for our events, and we've had this before when we used to have the registry office here. We find that most people don't want their weddings on the same day that we've got an event, and we let them know and they choose not to book that date, or we could even block them out. Equally, though, we have had people where they've said, oh, it's part in the park, that's going to really add some excitement to our wedding. We'd love to get married that day. So it's really kind of just informing the client, the couple, of the date, what's happening here, and then they can make that informed decision whether or not we can even accommodate it as well. But yeah, we've had to in the past literally work around this. The registrars have given us a list of, I know, 5 weddings happening that day, and we've had to work around the music on the bandstand to make sure that it wasn't interfering with the important parts of the ceremony. So it's been done.
So Becky, if somebody wanted to get married on the bandstand during Party in the Park, would that be an extra charge?
That could be an extra charge, absolutely.
Any more questions? No? Thank you for presenting that.
Thank you.
We will move on to Grove Corner and community engagement presented by Jill.
Lovely, thank you. Good evening, members. I'm just going to draw your attention to a few key parts of the report. So under Grove Corner section 1.5, officers are aware that Grove Corner and Pokemon are currently quieter than this time last year. As every few years, officers will see the same pattern happen, where a cohort of young people will move on, and then we have to rebuild it when they kind of outgrown the sessions, or they might begin to attend different clubs or new hobbies. And therefore, officers have been really busy going to promote the sessions. We've conducted consultation, and we've been exploring session times and ages with the trial to view these changes to see if this attracts more people. And this has been based on feedback that's been received and also from kind of observations that we've had. So officers are going to plan to trial a change in session times and ages in the first half of the summer term, with the aim that if this is popular and successful, these changes will be implemented permanently from September. So officers are currently planning to change some of the session times or ages for the centre-based youth work. And we've noticed that the detached youth work is reaching the older cohort of young people at the moment. So once a young person outgrows junior youth club, they might struggle with that transition to move on to kind of the older sessions from the centre. And therefore, officers are proposing to run the following sessions during the first half of the summer term to September, with the view that this will permanently change from September if successful. So on a Monday, the session times will remain the same. On the Tuesday, the first Pokemon session will remain the same. However, the session theme for the second session on a Tuesday is going to change. So this theme will become a SEND-friendly rebranded session for young people aged 15 to 18, up to 25 SEND. And that has very much come through consultation and observation that some young people of the older cohort aren't interested in Pokemon, but we get a lot of approaches about young people that have got SEND and is it something they could access. So we're hoping that by rebranding and not just saying it's Pokemon for that older session, that will be really attractive for kind of a different cohort of young people. On a Wednesday, which is the main change, so on a Wednesday from 3:30 p.m, which will be kind of straight after kind of primary school ends to 5:30, we're going to let's do a summer term transition to secondary school group, which will be for years 6, 7 and 8. So the theme and the age of this session will change, and we will drop the second session that happens on a Wednesday. And that's been due to that session being extremely quiet, despite the fact we are really promoting it. And so we've kind of felt at the moment there's actually a need for that session from the centre. However, in a little while in the report, I'll explain how we're still going to meet the need for that older cohort. And then on a Friday, the sessions again will change the same. However, for the older cohort, we are aware that we need to ensure that on a Wednesday, we're still engaging with that older cohort. And therefore, the detached team are going to be going out on a Monday from 5:30 till 7:30. So once the centre-based sessions are finished, the detached team will then be out. On a Wednesday from 3:15 to 5:15, whilst the centre-based youth work is taking place for the younger cohort, the detached team will be out to engage with the older cohort. So something will be happening at the same time for all young people. And on a Thursday from 4 till 6, the detached team again will go out. It's just important to note for the detached team, this will be kind of very much a flexible and fluid approach depending on needs. And the team will continue to engage with 12 to 19-year-olds and up to 25% in the places and spaces that young people are spending their time, but young people still want to access youth workers for detached. And then moving on to 3.5 and 3.6. I just wanted to draw members' attention to the fact that the youth team have had 756 interactions with young people between the 11th of December and the 3rd of February, and this has been through centre-based youth work and detached youth work. So although numbers have been slightly quieter in the centre, they have been higher in detached, so it's balanced itself out to support what I was saying. And then just to draw members' attention to Section 5 service level agreements. The 4-year service level agreements between the Town Council and various organisations are coming to an end. Members have agreed previously for organisations currently receiving funding that they can reapply for service level agreements, and therefore officers will write to all current SLA holders to confirm whether they wish to reapply. And then where the funded project is proposed to be continuing, applicants will be asked to explain why the ongoing funding is still required and if anything they're going to do differently, and just to provide an evaluation of the project to date. And they'll also be asked about the amount of funding requested. So it will continue to still be up to a maximum of £2,000, but members might note that different organisations receive different amounts. And therefore, service level agreeers will be asked to kind of just propose how much it is that they want to apply for. And then finally, just under Bennett's campaign, officers are currently at the moment preparing for the commercial season. So commissioning of that site will take place in mid-April, ready for the summer season to begin. Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah, it's just more an acknowledgement, really. I mean, just to say the work that you're doing with detached youth and well, to engage young people is incredible.
Thank you.
Am I right in saying that St Gilbert's Council they've increased funding for another year?
So for another year, we've got funding from
which I think is powerful. I mean, I sent out an email to fellow councillors saying, because I went along to one of the sessions with the detached youth. And it was incredible just to actually see the young people engage, and particularly seeing one of the young lads who I think I heard he doesn't really engage that much. So of course, for me, that's the person I want to go to. And then we ended up playing basketball, but just listening and talking to some of your staff as well, just to actually see them that this is where they were in the present moment. And you could just see that everything that they were doing was just kind of like together. The teamwork, so fantastic. So I mean, I say to the councillors, go and have a look, because that's all, you know, and then you actually see it yourself. It's quite difficult to explain it until when you actually see it, and then you see some of the young people how engaged. So yeah, so well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? No. Thank you for that report. We'll move on to all the people services.
Again.
Ideal.
This one is just going to be really short and brief. So just to bring members' attention just to a couple of things. So you may remember last year for Good Companions Club that I said that the group were interested in going to the seaside, and then unfortunately we weren't able to make it happen due to a lot of needs within that group, so we brought the seaside to them. However, the cohort has changed slightly, and there's been a request again to see if we can take them to the seaside. So we are going to kind of explore how we might be able to make this happen with a different cohort of people that we've kind of got in Good Companions Club at the moment. And then just the other thing to kind of bring members' attention to was just rock and roll. We had a really positive rock and roll again last week with nearly 90 people attending. So rock and roll is just from strength to strength. That's definitely our capacity for rock and roll. We wouldn't be able to take any more. And that's kind of doubled over the years from kind of how that started out getting 30 people to now having kind of 90 people. It was really positive to see, and just received some really positive verbal feedback on your social media. There's a lot of positive comments as well from people that have thoroughly enjoyed that and are requesting more and more and more, but we've only got capacity to do up to 4 a year. And then just the other thing that's not written on here, but just is Big Lunch. Just to make members aware that we will be advertising that in Talk of the Town, and tickets will then kind of be available for people to get again via the telephone, so that we can do it as the fairest system. But all information will go in Talk of the Town kind of next month when Talk of the Town goes out.
Any question? No. Thank you for that report again. We'll move on to reports from outside bodies. We'll do first South Beds Dial-A-Ride Management Committee. Thank
you, Chairman. Yes, there's a bit of concern over the issue of a blue badge for the organisation. Various arguments are put forward as to the interpretation that's been given, but the obvious thing is that not every passenger has a blue badge, and it may be in any event that the passenger that are carried on a particular time wouldn't be a passenger with a blue badge anyway. There is apparently some concern about the complication of filling up the form, numerous pages to actually be able to claim a blue badge as well. The main problem not having one for the Dial-A-Ride is that they visit various locations where there's either a single or a double yellow line, and the driver may well have to leave the vehicle to actually help get the client to the van, to the bus, and consequently that's a time when a traffic warden could come along and actually slap a ticket on the screen. So organisational blue badges, we feel as members of the Dial-A-Ride, should continue to be issued, but it's up to Central Beds and their interpretation. So that's the major thing at the moment. Watling House, I mentioned previously that a figure had been suggested for the purchase of that particular piece of land that Dial-A-Ride are on, rather higher than we thought, and we had our own estimate of the value of the land. It turned out to be roughly the same, so it's obviously in a place where development could take place, albeit on the edge of the Watling House estate. More recently, there's been a talk with the Luton Cancer Patient Transport Service. That's one of the services that Dial-A-Ride provide. They have taken people down to hospitals in London, and also during the COVID time, I think it was, delivering prescriptions and so on. So this Luton Cancer Patient Transport Service is, say, one we're providing, and they're perfectly happy with what we're doing. And finally, bus replacement. Every so often we do replace the buses as they get too much, what we would consider as being too much mileage on them. Things start to go wrong, and repairs are quite expensive. So it's sensible to have a bus replacement policy, which we do have, and another new bus is going to be purchased in the, well, not necessarily new, but second-hand bus is going to be purchased in the very near future. So all in all, things are working again reasonably well for Dial-A-Ride.
Councillor Hollick, I have a question which is probably...
You're not old enough.
Oh. Very funny. On the blue badge situation, is there? It's a bit of a difficult question for you to answer. Is there a reason Central Beds wouldn't consider re-approving it, being that it's been approved in the past? It seems a no-brainer to me that it's such an important service for people in the most need.
As I understand it, the rules have changed slightly, and it is the interpretation of those rules that is the fly in the ointment.
Okay.
It's simply that. I think if they took a rather broader view of interpretation, it might be that they could issue one, but at the moment there's a certain impasse.
You have a question?
Yeah, if I may, just on that same point, Gregory says, you said that there's been a slight change to the rules with regard to an organisational path. Has there been any other applications which have been approved or denied, which give you an idea of what might be a precedent?
Well, certainly other bodies have been trying. I don't know of anybody that's been successful. We're
Right.
talking about obviously Central Bedfordshire and their interpretation. Elsewhere, I can't answer that off the top of my head.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. We'll move on to Dunstable Town Bands by Robert.
Yeah, I've had no correspondence from Dunstable Town Band, so I have nothing to report. As far as I'm aware, they're all good. Though.
Thank you. We'll move on then to Mendon Sheds by Richard.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. There's nothing really to report that I've got at the moment. I did give a comprehensive report last time, and as I stated there, the secretary and chair, they've got a new secretary and chair, so I think everything's sort of settling down. They're taking on new members, but they're certainly sticking over as normal. And I'll no doubt get a bit of a further update and give you more clarification at a later date.
Thank you. Are there any questions at all? No? Okay. The date of the next meeting will be Monday, the 1st of June, 26th at 7 p.m. Meeting is closed.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. That was quick.